I can't believe it. My painting, Cold's Conqueror, won an honorable mention award at a juried exhibition. This is a huge milestone for me as an artist, and I've never been more motivated to continue creating artworks and sharing them with people. I documented most of my process for this painting, and I'd love to share how it went from an idea to the gallery wall. For the last couple of years, I was fortunate enough to live just a few minutes' drive from our local herd of bison. I used this opportunity to visit them as often as I could, whether it was sunrise, sunset, or just a chill Sunday afternoon. I particularly enjoyed visiting them on some of the worst weather days, getting to observe them in interesting conditions. The thing that always stood out to me was how at ease they seemed, even in a blizzard. That's the idea where Cold's Conqueror first took root. Bison are incredibly resilient and hardy animals. After being on the verge of extinction, they have made an amazing comeback, though they continue to face issues like genetic diversity, space for migration, and legal classifications. For my artwork, I wanted to explore that hardiness by focusing on both the older and younger bison. I started with an initial sketch, but after quickly realizing the compositional weight was lopsided, decided to go on a different route. I knew the larger bison was going to gloriously steal the show with that orange sunlit coat. I decided to place the smaller bison closer to the camera and engaging the viewer, standing atop a small hill, a conquering of the elements. I first covered the canvas in a thinned wash of Gamsol and raw sienna, toning out the canvas and getting rid of that bright white. I then sketched in the bison, measuring the correct placement on the canvas and just getting the composition roughly sketched in. At this point, I can easily fix mistakes, take a step back, and decide early on if I want to make any changes. Next, I block in the initial layer of colors. I try to unfocus my eyes, or just take my glasses off, and simplify the colors that I see. Lately, I've been going further than that and getting as much detail as I can on the first layer, but the overall idea is to get everything blocked in, which gives me another opportunity to step away and see if the colors are working like I want. I'm looking for the general color of the larger zones, fighting the urge to grab smaller brushes. This keeps the initial layer brushwork looser and helps me work zone by zone much quicker. For the coats of the bison, I really enjoyed getting to push those contrasts from the angle of the sun and to make those coats feel like they are fully bathed in warming light. Blocking in the snow was almost therapeutic. Since it's just the first layer, I can have a bit of freedom to push the line between the titanium white and the blue shadows. I'm not worried about getting too messy here. This is the chance to add some painterly qualities to the artwork. The sky was particularly difficult to get right. I needed it to be similar to the shadows of the snow, but a much more vibrant blue without going overboard. That balance and haziness as it approached the horizon was much more of a challenge than I thought it would be, but it was worth the effort. I wanted someone to feel the cold of that distance as they looked at the painting. After that first layer is done and the canvas covered, I proceed to stare at it for minutes on end, critiquing my colors, making sure the composition is where I'd like it to be, contemplating on life, and starting to make decisions that will benefit as a painting, instead of just relying solely on reference. This is typically my last opportunity to make large changes to the composition or colors without creating a lot of work for myself. After I figure out my plan of attack, I begin on the second layer of paint. I bring out the smaller brushes and begin to work in more focused areas. From here on, the progress slows dramatically as I'm looking to add more details and fine-tune different areas of color. In the snow, I'm adding sharper edges where those hooves have walked, and bringing out the areas where a bit of mud and grass can be seen poking out. For the bison, I start to expand on the value range of their fur, adding in the darkest darks and lightest lights. I add more texture to the fur to really push the depth and hopefully make them feel more three-dimensional. I also add more nuance to the colors of their fur, bringing out those areas where the sunlight creates more orange and magenta colors in their coats. I need to be careful at this stage. If an area or element of the painting is already working, sometimes there's no need to add more. Adding that extra bit of detail could actually take something magical away from the overall image. I repeat this process of adding more detail until I'm satisfied with the overall look of the painting. And I gotta say, I couldn't have been happier with the end result. After it was dry, I applied a satin Gamvar varnish, which helps even out the colors and give it a nice semi-gloss look. I then framed it and delivered it to the gallery, Mark Arts, in Wichita, Kansas, to be included in the Land That I Love exhibition. When we attended the opening reception for the exhibition, it filled me with such joy to see my artwork among so many other great pieces of art. I absolutely couldn't believe when my artwork was announced for an honorable mention award. I don't think I stopped smiling for the rest of the night. It was a great experience to meet new people and hear how much they loved my artwork. This is a big milestone for me as I continue to develop as an artist. It has given me more motivation to continue documenting my process, pushing those techniques to be even better, and of course, making more art.